As the great Jim Nantz says on this weekend, hello, friends. How are you doing? Happy Sunday to everybody. It's Oilers game day as they travel to Winnipeg, taking the bus back to Winnipeg as they travel there for a meeting with the Jets. Game 80 of the NHL season as the Oilers limp, slowly but surely make their way to the finish line of the regular season. Will they be fully healthy for game one of the playoffs? That's a question nobody knows, but hello and welcome to Pregaming with Bordzy, brought to you by Sherwood Ford, the Giant. And Pregaming is also a presentation of Bet365 because, come on, people, say it with me. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary when you're at Bet365. I'm joined by the man, Coombsy, who's got some sick new wallpaper behind him. Coombsy, you no longer look like you're doing the show from an insane asylum. The straitjacket is not on. How's the Sunday going for you, my friend?
I'm still most certainly doing the show from an insane asylum. This is just a more nicely decorated one. The wallpaper is a nice improvement over the blank white wall. I think that's a big step in the right direction for me. But I will say that though in my screen box you can see that there's properly placed wallpaper. Outside of this, there wasn't enough to fill the entire wall. So there's like little pieces missing all over the wall and kind of puzzled together to make it all fit. But honestly, a significant improvement over the white wall.
It looks pretty good, dude. I'm not going to lie to you. Never, ever break the fourth wall. Never peel back the curtain. Let them know your next move. Don't let them know what it looks like behind this whole thing back here. But let's get caught up in the chat because I see a lot of people in here already. And I got to say, some people that are a little dejected about the Edmonton Oilers. Brian's in, says, it was a great run. No Ekholm and no grand prize. The fuck is this? Why are we starting like this today? It's time to create a cohesive team that has fun down the stretch. But the hockey gods decided against the Oilers this season. I need much more positive first comments of the day than that. We can't be starting like that. Levi's in. He's got my back. He says, "A cup, yeah." The Silver Merlin's in. Says, anyone else feeling positive after the Jets got taken to a shootout after Hellebuck gave up 4 goals last night? Maynard, he's got a little bit of sass with him today. He says, half-hour show? Frickin' slackers. Well, if I must let you know, I had to move my mother's patio furniture into her backyard, and I just got home a little bit ago. I'm also shockingly hungover, but that's the whole story for another day. Bozen says, still a cup year. There it is. Y'all can slide off the bandwagon if you'd like. Our team isn't comprised of just Ekholm. Lots of game breakers that can win it for us. Veronica, my other queen, is in and says, let's go Oilers. I know she loves Connor McDavid. Loyal to the oil. Hope will never die. 100% still a cup year. Lance says cup year. Maynard again. I've probably watched LA more than all of you. That's a weird flex, but okay. The key is to get a lead because if you fall behind, you are toast. Not ideal, but I think the Oilers have to go nuclear with 97 and 29. They might not even be able to play a full lineup, healthy lineup. So who knows? Bo's in. Doubted every year. Doubted once again. That's right. It's nothing new here for the Oilers. Justine says, Goilers cup, yeah. Ryan S. says it's just a half-hour show. Yeah, that's right. We'll do it quickly here. And then Lance Kane is in all capitals. Don't choke Rory. That's right, people. The Masters. It's coming down to the end. I've got it here on my phone. We're never going to miss a moment, but if you see me peering down, that's because I'm kind of the opposite of Lance. I want to see Rory choke. I love watching golfers choke, and he's done pretty much everything today. He had such a good round earlier, gets to the back nine, starts shitting his pants. Either way, we will have our eyes locked on that one as well. But hello, everybody. How are we doing, Coombsy? As I said, it's a very weird time here. I'm sure tomorrow's pregaming will be 60 minutes, but it's just this time of year. Can we just hurry up and cancel the regular season? Let's get to the NHL playoffs, start the postseason already. And as we've touched on, brother, it's dark times injury-wise for the Edmonton Oilers. Somehow it keeps going from bad to even worse. Look at that on your screen. Shout out to Daily Faceoff, the daily lineups. That sucks to look out. Evander Kane, IR. Alec Regula, IR. Klingberg, IR. Ekholm out, Wallman out, Frederick out, Nuge out, Leon out, Zach Hyman out. That list is long as shit. Friday night, Coombsy, it was supposed to be a time for celebration. It was Clinchmas. That is supposed to be an awesome evening. There was a dark cloud surrounding that Oilers victory. Not only do they lose Mattias Ekholm, we'll touch on in just a sec, which could be for a significant amount of time, including the postseason. They also lose Zachary Martin Hyman in the second period of that game. We'll start with Ekholm because any way you slice it, Coombsy, that sucks. And that is not good for the Oilers in the postseason. It's believed that this Ekholm injury is a serious injury as we near the NHL playoffs, one that they think will have him sidelined for quite some time. We got a tweet here from Ryan Rashog. This one made its rounds yesterday. I just looked at it. Over 500,000 views on X, the everything app. But he says, tough news for the Oilers and Ekholm. Hearing there are further tests to be done, but it is believed to be a serious injury that worst case scenario may end his season. Best case scenario, keep him sidelined for quite some time. Goomsy, that sucks. No way to slice it. And there was a lot of discourse yesterday online, even Friday's postgame show, that if he was that susceptible to an injury, if he clearly was not at 100%, why was he in the lineup? I've kind of touched on this with a lot of other players on the Oilers. That is not for me to discuss. I am not in the training room. I have no idea. If Mattias Ekholm looks TD4s in the eyes and he says, I'm ready to go, then you're going to let him get out there on the ice. Either way, this stinks, Coombsy. The Oilers, as we just saw there, for sure should expect him to be out for a significant amount of time. But worst case scenario, we might not be seeing the Viking for the rest of the regular season and the NHL playoffs. Now the Oilers, their back end, it's been able to do this and tread water without Mattias Ekholm for a significant stretch this season. But Coombsy, no Ekholm, that is bad, bad news.
It is bad news. Yeah, it's one of those players who's pretty difficult for the Oilers to replace on their blue line. But the reality is that they're just going to have players stepping up internally. It's going to have to be Darnell Nurse, Evan Bouchard, Brett Kulak, those names who have been doing it largely all year for the Oilers. And then of course Jake Wallman, who's now another name that's been added to the pile and has missed a couple of games now with something that's undisclosed. So we're going to see Cam Dineen back up from the AHL in this one, playing with Ty Emberson on the third pairing, and then Brett Kulak's playing with Troy Stetcher, Nurse and Evan Bouchard on the top pairing. It's a huge loss to not have Ekholm there, but the hope is, I guess that you get Jake Wallman back before the end of the season as well. At least you hope for that. But if it's with the two of them not there, it's a lot of heavy lifting for especially those three, Nurse, Kulak, and Bouchard.
Yeah, I see some comments here in the chat. It's a good point there with Darnell Nurse because he's kind of turned into the Oilers' #1 defenseman this season, and he has been shouldering some heavy minutes, a heavy workload lately. Also, Camus, I'm assuming he's talking about Cam Dineen, Coombsy. Cam Dineen will lead us to the cup. Lance is in. He also says Ekholm will be back for game 1 of the finals. Shit, that would be electric if that actually did go down. And Mackay and Dry says Clenchmas is still here. That's right when it comes to the Edmonton Oilers and their injuries. Mackay and Dry, this is why 4 nations can be risky. Sure thing. Lance also puts in there and he goes, yeah, suddenly we all become doctors when we get injury news like this. I don't know. It stinks. That's all I can tell you about. And gets even worse. Now, this one isn't believed to be that serious, but Zach Hyman will also not be playing in tonight's hockey game. And frankly, for me, Coombsy, the Edmonton Oilers should just punt on the rest of this regular season, in my opinion. Wrap them in bubble wrap, sleep in hyperbaric chambers. Don't even leave your house because you can't get injured if you're still inside the house. But Zach Hyman, he's a little banged up. So not only Leon, not only Nuge, add Zach Hyman as well. And it's a weird one. We still don't really know what the injury is. It is still technically an undisclosed injury. So is Mattias Ekholm's as well. But it's going to keep him out for at least tonight. As I said, with the Oilers already clinched their ticket to the dance, hey, if it's not serious, I don't even care. Just rest him out. I need Zach Hyman at 100%. The mood in oil country, it has dampered, I will say, because of all of these injuries. We see people in this chat saying that it's not a cup year. Obviously, the Hyman injury sucks. when you compare it to the Ekholm one and the news you got there, you go, okay, that's not as bad, not serious. I think we will expect Zach Hyman to be back for the NHL playoffs. Once again, that is just straight speculation from me and Coombsy. Zach Hyman hasn't had the 54-goal season that he did last year. It hasn't been as productive. He's been getting banged up a little bit here, a little bit there. This one looked like a very innocuous play, I will say, on Friday night. Didn't really look like anything. I thought it could be a shot to the ribs. Someone also said ankle online. Who knows? Either way, no Zach Hyman. Coombsy, the priority has always been health. It will always be health here. And in my personal opinion, I don't expect that we will see Zach Hyman for the rest of the regular season. But no Hyman, Coombsy, that also sucks.
It does, yeah. But kind of like you said, it feels like with these last 3 games, the whole point here, the whole thing is to get through these without having more guys added to that list of injuries and not having that get worse. I mean, honestly, the one that I worry about most heading into this game, of course, is Connor McDavid, because the last time the Oilers played the Winnipeg Jets is when he suffered that, I think did they leave it as an undisclosed injury or just call it a lower body? Yeah, whatever it was, undisclosed injury. It came when, I mean, again, we're speculating here, but I think we all sort of know when it was, and it was Josh Morrissey giving that really tight cross-check jab right sort of around his hip. So the Jets are they're a really good team, but they're also a very low-key kind of chippy, they're that kind of team. They use their sticks a lot, and that's sort of a worrying thing if you're the Oilers and you already have this many injuries piled up, that you're going into a game against the Jets and they can clinch the President's Trophy here with this one, and they're at home. So gotta hope that nothing else happens.
I see Maynard's in, says Connor plays like 8 minutes tonight. Also, Veronica's in, says I'm only in here for Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid is the best. Veronica, I love you and I appreciate you. There is a worry about that. Once again, all of the goals are, knock on wood, just survive the rest of the regular season without a significant injury going down. We got a lot of bad injury news there. Close it out here with some good injury news, because tonight will be the return of one Stuart Skinner. The mustache, the stash is back. He will make his return to the crease for the first time since March 26th. We all remember Mikko Rantanen running him in his crease, kind of making contact, knee to the head. It was reported and listed that Stu is dealing with a concussion/neck injury as well, but he is good to go tonight. And Coombsy, the plan is we got 3 more games this season. I believe the plan is for Stuart Skinner to be getting 2 of those 3. Obviously tomorrow, second half of a back-to-back. The Oilers coming back to Edmonton to host the LA Kings. Little round 1 preview for your asses right there. But this Stu return, I'm going to have my eyes glued on him. That's the number 1 storyline for me in this hockey game. How does he look? How does he respond? Because to me, it's going to be kind of fascinating. The game 1 starter is way up in the air for the Edmonton Oilers. And with Stu coming off of a significant head injury, you never quite know how the body is going to respond after an injury like that. Shout out Coombsy's game notes earlier today on Oilersnation.com, but you noted Stu had 9 starts in the month of March, and he had an .873 save percentage during that month. That is simply not good enough. We've seen Calvin Pickard be above 900 here pretty consistently since he's taken over the starter's workload. So who knows? I think the fan base right now is probably, if you did truth serum, I think they're leaning towards Calvin Pickard being that game 1 starter. But if Stuart Skinner goes out here, plays 2 awesome games, one against the best team in the NHL in the Winnipeg Jets, that might change some opinions here. Coombsy, either way, any way you slice it with this one, this is good news. This is not bad news. Stuart Skinner, the stash, he is back.
Yeah, this is a positive one. At the very least, there's some players coming off the list of injuries. And this is a tricky one, too, of course, getting kneed in the head by Mikko Rantanen and dealing with some sort of concussion. We obviously don't know the severity or what that looks like, but you never want to see players dealing with head injuries, because those are obviously the most tricky ones to come back from, to kind of diagnose, to see, all right, is this player good to go? Are they ready? Those are really tricky to diagnose. So the difficult thing with Skinner here, and it's already hard to say what to expect coming back from that sort of an injury, but it was also a rough month of March for Skinner as well before he went down with that injury. Like you said, it's over 9 appearances in March, an .873 save percentage, which I'm not really sure if a solid game against the Winnipeg Jets and then another one against the San Jose Sharks would be enough for me to feel confident in Skinner being the starter in the playoffs. Maybe they give him the nod as the game one starter because he's the starter and goalie on the team, and they do that. But maybe it's a short leash, and if it's a poor game one, then Cal Pickard's in pretty quickly. But I think Skinner's got a decent amount to prove in order to make himself the starter here again. I'm just not sure if the coaching staff agrees. I'm not sure if they're really viewing this as a 1A, 1B, let's go with the hot hand, or if they're viewing it as Stuart Skinner as our starting goalie, and if he's good to go, he's going to be our starting goalie.
I do think there's a realm that it might be easier to Stu be the game one starter, and you could quickly, like you said, short leash, yank him. It's easier to put in Calvin Pickard. He's also had that, I don't know, that mindset his entire career. He's had to fight for absolutely everything. I do worry about Stu's head a little bit. If Pickard was the game one starter, then going to Stuart Skinner, not sure where his confidence would be. But let's go now. We got to do the speedy need to know information courtesy of Will Hawk Beef Jerky. You can find their jerky, sausage, and other products exclusively out of their Leduc location. For more information to get yo jerky on, head to willhawkbeefjerky.com. So the Oilers seem pretty locked in for a round one matchup with the LA Kings. Only 3 games to go left in the season. Technically speaking, home ice advantage is still up for grabs for the Oilers. A big one, head-to-head with the LA Kings going down tomorrow night at Rogers Place. It's a back-to-back. So tonight they're in Winnipeg, bang, back on the bus, if you know what I'm saying, and they will be driving back to Edmonton.
Wow.
Oilers 2-0 since Connor McDavid returned back to the lineup. He has 7 points in those 2 games. The Oilers have scored 8 goals over that stretch. He's been involved in 7 of them. Just nuts. The dude has not skipped a beat. Veronica, I also love Connor McDavid. He's up to 97 points now on the season. Nice. 3 away from cracking the century mark, which would be the 8th time he's done that in his NHL career. Oilers, we just looked at it. They're insanely injured in this hockey game, but they will still be rolling out Cam Dineen. Coombsy, I'm very happy it's you and me for a Cam Dineen game because we love Cam Dineen. And then, as I've said, Stuart Skinner, he's back in the lineup. He will be getting the start for the Oilers. For the Jets, with a win tonight, they would actually sweep the season series over the Edmonton Oilers. Remember, they beat the Oilers 6-0 on game 1 of the regular season. They also beat the Oilers 4-3 in OT a few weeks ago. Both of those games were actually played in Rogers Place. The Oilers 0-2 at home, or 0-1-1, I guess I should rather say, with the scene shifting to Winnipeg tonight. The Jets, don't know if you know this, very good at hockey. They are 3rd in goals for per game, 1st on the power play, 3rd in shooting percentage. They're 1st in goals allowed, 3rd in shots allowed. Anyway, you slice it, this team is incredibly good. And as you mentioned, could clinch the President's Trophy. Kyle Connor leads the team in points, 96 in 80 games. He has 41 goals. Still baffles me that he was up in the press box for the gold medal game of the 4 Nations, but that is neither here nor there. Mark Scheifele, he's having a great season. He didn't make Team Canada. He's 2nd on the team in points, 85 in 80 games played. Connor Hellebuck, we all know him. He's the MVP of these Winnipeg Jets. He is the, without a doubt, lock for the Vezina Trophy this season. But you want some good news. The Oilers will not have to deal with Connor Hellebuck this evening as Eric Comrie is expected to get the start for the Winnipeg Jets. 9-9-1 record, 236 goals against, 914 save percentage. So also still pretty good, but hey, it's not Connor Hellebuck. You got to feel good about that. Let's go now to the Sherwood Ford Giant storyline brought to you by Sherwood Ford the Giant. They got Nation Valet service going on right now. They are the best. We just saw Jay use it. We saw Tyler use it for the Nation truck. Sat at work all day, drove to work. They picked up the truck, took it back to the shop, did the service, did the oil change, did whatever they needed to do, and then drove that bad boy right on back to him. Shout out Sherwood Ford, the Giant for a reason. My storyline, Coombsy, kind of mentioned it off the hop. All I'm watching is Stuart Skinner. And does he look rattled? How does he move in there? Does he let in a stinker? Does he stop the first shot again? Because we've seen that a lot from Stuart Skinner where he allows that one. It has not been an ideal season for Stu. He is having a career low season save percentage below 900. And like you said, I don't know if he's going to get 2 of the next 3 appearances. He would have to do a lot for me to have significant confidence in him being the game one starter for the NHL playoffs. So my storyline is all about Stuart Skinner. How does he look? My key to victory? I don't know. Don't score more goals than the Winnipeg Jets. Stuart Skinner, stop the puck. That's my key to victory as well with Stuart Skinner, because this Jets team, they're good defensively. They are also sneaky good offensively. Coombsy, you got a storyline or a key to victory for me?
Yeah, I think my storyline sort of in the same vein as the Skinner one is getting through this game without having more injuries added to the pile. We all know what happened in the game against San Jose on Friday. Should have been a nice, celebratory night, and Edmonton clinched the playoff spot, but instead two key players go down with injuries, and that completely dampened the mood, completely sort of ruined the vibe of clinching a playoff spot, kind of kills the excitement a little bit. So for this one against Winnipeg, as we said earlier, the Jets can clinch the President's Trophy. They can clinch their best season in franchise history. They have 114 points right now. They also had 114 points in 2017-18, which is the year they went to the Western Conference Finals and fell to the Vegas Golden Knights. This for Winnipeg this year, it feels really like this team desperately needs to go on a playoff run. Like last year, winning 52 games, 110 points, getting knocked out in the first round of the playoffs. The Jets haven't won a real playoff round. I mean, they beat the Oilers, of course, in 2021 in the shortened season with no fans, but you have to go back to that Western Conference run in 2018 to find the last time the Jets went on a real playoff run. So they feel like a motivated team going into the spring. And for the Oilers, the key to this one, I think, is they're going to need to have a Connor McDavid that just sort of wills them to victory. The Oilers are banged up and they don't have the same amount of depth that the Jets do at the best of times. So this is going to be one of those Connor McDavid games if the Oilers do wind up coming out on top.
Hop on my back, boys. That's what Connor McDavid is saying in the room right now. Losh says, score more goals than they do. Fair. That's kind of what I said as well. Chris Knobloch, 60-minute effort. Southpaw, Stu, keep goals against below 3. Oilers score 3+. Once again, scoring more goals than the opposition. And then Christopher Palmer says, shh, Rory's on the green right now. Everyone be quiet. It's pretty intense going on right here, right now. Bert, if you want to pull it up for me, the projected Oilers lineup. We'll go through these ones pretty quickly. Shout out to TB for the up-to-date lineup right now. Top line, Jeff Skinner with Connor McDavid and Connor Brown, a trio that's been very good. Vasily Podkolzin with Matthias Janmark and Victor Arvidsson. Corey Perry, who's wearing an A for tonight's game. I just saw it out on the ice in warm-ups, rocking that beautiful assistant captain. Max Jones, Noah Philp, Kasperi Kapanen, round out the fourth line, and then it's Darnell with Bush, Kulak with Emberson, Cam Dineen with Troy Stetcher, and the return of one Stuart Skinner. Goomsy, look at that lineup. It's always very funny. It's been very nice. Waz has been tweeting out old lineups from the Oilers. He even said, if you think this is a bad injury situation, he tweeted a photo from 2013, and it's Gazdic, Yakupov, Ryan Jones, Gagne, everybody all on the bench in their suits. Gazdic's in a sling, and he's like, you think it's bad right now? That was pretty bad as well. Coombsy, you look through this one, though. Nurse and Bush, I'm expecting them to be playing a lot of minutes in this hockey game. Kulak, Emberson as well. Could see a good 4-man rotational D-man unit there with those guys getting more significant minutes. But with only 3 games left to go in the season, there might not be a lot on the line, might not be a lot to watch for. Kulak and Emerson second pairing with the tattoo bet coming down the wire. This is what we live for. This is why you make a tattoo bet, to make content out of it. There's the updated standings. Brett Kulak, 5 up on MB, 3 games to go. I don't want to get tattooed. I would like Brett to do one. And then tomorrow, I believe Brett and I are going to be giving out our tattoo ideas. I got confidence, but who knows? We will see. Ty Emerson might just block a million pucks in this one. I'd also say to everyone, don't block any pucks. I cannot stomach any more injuries to this team. But that's the lineup. Let's now take a peek. I read it to you. The starting goaltenders in this one. It's Eric Comrie. It's Stuart Skinner, and it's brought to you by Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. Come on, people, almost summertime. Get your boat serviced, get your quad serviced, your dirt bikes, everything. Or if you're just thinking about getting some outdoor toys for the summer, maybe you want some cool shit for your lake lot. Maybe you just want some cool shit at home. Maybe you want to scoot because they are incredible. We're Sherwood Power Sports and Marine have got you covered there. They also run a fantastic commercial during every single Edmonton Oilers game. Shout out to that crew. They were acting spectacularly. Stu, we talked about Akumzi. He's got to prove it here in the next 2 of 3 games. But Eric Comrie, he's the opposition. It's not Connor Hellebuck. You got to feel good about it. The Oilers do not have their full lineup, but Eric Comrie is going to be in tough because Connor McDavid has just looked like a man possessed lately. But either way, shout out Jets on the second half of a back-to-back. That's why Connor Hellebuck isn't playing in this one. But Coombsy, Eric Comrie, no Mike Comrie, as we covered before we went live today. Thoughts on the goaltending matchup?
Yeah, I mean, the real focus in this one, of course, is Stuart Skinner and what he's able to do for the Oilers in his first game back from a concussion. Like we said earlier, this is a very difficult one to predict how he's going to perform, but coming back from an injury like that. But on the other side for Winnipeg, I guess Edmonton catches a break here, not having to go up against Connor Hellebuck, who's been undoubtedly the MVP for the Jets this season. You went through his stats, how good he's been, and given the way things went at the end of have gone at the end of the season with Leon Draisaitl missing some games, Nathan McKinnon as well. I believe the Colorado Avalanche have him missing a few games because they're sort of locked into their playoff spot. Given with those two, I do wonder if that sort of opened the door here for Connor Hellebuck to win the Hart Trophy. It's been a long time since a goalie won the Hart. It's been, I believe Carey Price would have been the last one. That would have been exactly a decade ago now. I think that would have been 2014, 15. Yeah. So kind of feels like we're due for one. I wouldn't be surprised to see the voters go in that direction.
Yeah. And other than that, Jose Theodore. Something about Habs goalies.
2001, right? Yeah.
Something about the Habs goalies just being MVPs. I want to give some love to Greta. There for the away lineup. Winnipeg Jets. Greta, you know him. You love him. My favorite spot in the entire city. But we're going to go quick here, Bert. So we're giving the people what they want. They're asking for the bankroll. They want the bankroll. Well, you're getting the bankroll brought to you by Bet365 because whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365 where every nail-biting overtime win is a barn burner. Every face-off, hat-trick, power play, shot on goal, penalty shot, and every suspenseful minute in between is amazing. They're an official partner of the NHL. Download the app. Use the promo code NATION to get in on the game. Must be 19 or older. Please play responsibly. So, people, I rushed a little bit of the bankroll today, but I actually feel pretty good about this one. Your first option, don't question it ever. It's Connor McDavid, 2+ points. You give me a plus sign, I smash that every single time. Currently plus 110. Run, don't walk, get over Bet365. Get those odds there as well. The second option, a little Evan Bouchard, 3 shots on goal, over 2.5, currently plus 100. As you see here, all 3 of these bets, plus money, you parlay them together. They got some juice. And then finally, Jeffrey Scotty Skinner, I'm feeling it. Anytime goal, that top line of McDavid, Brownie, and Skinner have looked very, very good. Connor McDavid is a man possessed right now. Jeff Skinner, he hasn't been hitting his shot props lately, and I've been betting on those. So I'm going with the anytime goal in this one. Coombsy, which of these 3 bets do you like the most?
I'd go with the McDavid 2 points. He's been involved in 7 of their 8 goals since coming back from injury. So that seems like the one to take to the bank.
I'm just seeing here, Chell says these are all good bets, to be honest. I appreciate you. Let's ride. I'll meet you at the cashier for Bet365. Southpaw said, this is like speed dating for sports fans. Pre-gaming will be over before I finish my first drink. Once again, I apologize for 30 minutes, but my mother comes first, and she needed help with the patio furniture, so we can do a little bit of everything. Coombsy, I also see, doesn't surprise me, here in the YouTube chat, Connor McDavid, he's got 61% of the votes for Bordzy's bankroll. It's his world. We are just living in it right now. And Lance also, all 3 with an Oilers W. Sprinkle in a little money line Edmonton Oilers. But Lance, I didn't tell you to do that. So you're doing that on your own. Coombsy, final question for you. Score prediction, anytime goal scorer. Give it to me.
I'm going to go with a 3-2 win for the Oilers, and Connor McDavid scores 1.
3-2, yeah. Something tells me, and I don't think there's going to be a ton of offense in this hockey game. I'm going to say, I'm never going to predict an opposition win. I've done 79 games here. Not going to start now, so I'm going to say Oilers 4-2 W with an empty netter in there. And I'm going to go Jeffrey Scotty Skinner with the anytime goal. I also appreciate this from Mackay and Dry. It says, Momsy greater than chat. Fair. At least you guys understand moms come first. Coomsy, that'll do it for us for the speed dating version, the speed version of Pregaming with Bordzy. That was quick, and I appreciate you all. Shout out to you, Coom. We will both be here, right here on this YouTube channel, right after the hockey game for Oilers Nation After Dark. Hopefully, breaking down an Edmonton Oilers big fat orange W, which, if the Oilers can get back-to-back W's here tonight and tomorrow against the LA Kings, that home ice dream could be very well alive, but you got to get one W before you can get two. So let's ride, as we say. Shout out to you, Coom. Shout out to Brett behind the scenes, everybody in the chat. You guys are fantastic. And of course, our lovely, lovely sponsors, Sherwood Ford the Giant, Sherwood Power Sports Marine, Greta Bar Yegg, Bet365, Wilhauk Beef Jerky, Crush a Couple Odd Company Nation Beer, Everyday Loggers. It's Sunday. You want to avoid the scaries? Have a couple of brews. It's beautiful out right now. And then the other one I always tell you, it's Sunday. Who the hell wants to cook? Get some Oodle Noodle. Order it. Download their app today. You get 1,500 customer loyalty rewards points when you do so, which is $15 in value. And I believe, Brett, pull it up for me there. The Platinum Pairing is going on until 4/20. That is a company after my own heart. They're doing fantastic work. So shout out that. Also shout out 420. And Brett, one more thing. Why don't we show everybody the new merchandise that's at nationgear.ca. Shout out to Kennedy, because these are sick. It's the Edmonton Hockey Oil Up. Hope will never die. We got shirts. We got hats, snapbacks, dad hats, a little bit of everything. Check them out. nationgear.ca. There's so many cool trinkets and Easter eggs in this shirt here. Check at Kennedy's Trash. She'll give you all the details on socials about it. They're sick. Get geared up. Get oiled up for the NHL playoffs. That sounded weird the way that came out. Shout out Diddy. Either way, peace out. Good luck, everybody. We will talk right here after the game. Good luck.